What's up, guys? Welcome to Game of the Week in the OMFL for week number 3. I'm sorry I'm getting this out just a little late, but you know what? There were two really classic games to pick from, and we're going to go with the Bengals versus the Vikings. The Atlanta Falcons game against the LA Rams, not the St. Louis Rams, the LA Rams, would be another really classic game for you guys to tune into, but we picked this one right here. This is the one we're going to go with because I think it's a little bit different matchup. We're going to hear a lot from those Falcons throughout the year. Plus, they were on the Game of the Week last week, so let's pick somebody new. Daddy Leagues is calling for a 34-23 victory for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're averaging 40 points per game, only 13 points per game on defense. The Vikings are scoring 32 points per game, but allowing 28. A much better offense and defense in Cincinnati than what they have in Minnesota. This game really is going to come down to who can play better defense, man. Both teams get after the quarterback. 4 sacks a game for the Vikings, 3.5 sacks a game for the Bengals. But the Bengals are averaging 4 turnovers per game difference. So they're taking away the ball 6 times, averaging away 2. The Vikings are giving away 2, but only getting away back 4. So they're only averaging 2. And that's a massive difference in a game that's already going to be very high scoring, potentially, as the Bengals hit the road to go face the Vikings. Let's take a look at the Bengals and break down their team. Cincinnati Bengals are first in offense and points scored, 11th in yards, 19th in passing yards, and 2nd in rushing yards. They're averaging almost 200 yards per game. Their defense is just as good, 2nd in points per game, 6th in yards, 9th in passing yards, and 5th in rushing yards. This team is fast. They've got playmakers. They're strong. They get after the quarterback, and they rough up your running backs. There we go. Can't find the word, but I found it. They rough up your running backs. They're hitting them in the backfield, and they're getting after your quarterback. If you look at some of their stats, I hit the wrong button there, but we're going to go back to the stats here. You'll see just how good this team is really playing so far this year. The quarterback play maybe could be improved here. He's only averaging 464 yards already, 56.1 completion percentage, 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, but he's not needing to pass the ball that much. 23 completions out of 41 attempts. If you look at their rushing game, you'll see where this team shines. Both of these guys, their second guy, Genis, is averaging almost 4 yards a carry. Their starter, though, Denard Amy, we've talked about him on Press Pass Live, 33 carries, 325 yards, 9.8 average, and 6 touchdowns. Kilgo, a high draft pick from just a couple of seasons ago, is averaging 47 yards per catch. Unbelievable. 2 touchdowns on the year. Muhammad, not too bad himself. 16 yards a catch, 8 receptions, 128 yards, and a touchdown. Now, if we look at their defense, you'll see that Goodley is playing out of his mind. 7 tackles, 5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. It's amazing how fast this guy is, how he's getting after the quarterback, and how he's making the plays. Buchanan is another speed guy there to go with Gruger Hill, Anthony Barr. They've got speed from top to bottom. This really is one of the top teams that you're going to see. Now let's take a look at the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings know how to play offense. They're 5th in points. They're 18th in total yards, 20th in passing yards, and 16th in rushing yards. It's amazing that even with those much lower stats overall, they're scoring 32 points per game for 5th in the league. If you look at their defense, you'll see much better stats. Now, they're giving up 28 points per game. I think that's because their offense is turning the ball over too much. But they're 4th in total yards, 7th in passing yards, and 7th in rushing yards. This really is a team that thrives on the big play, is able to make plays late in games, and has really relied on their team to pull things through late in the game. Teddy Bridgewater, 64% completion percentage, 505 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, though, and 7 sacks. Shea, 27 attempts for 167 yards, a 6.2 average, and 2 touchdowns on the season. Waddle, another guy. Everyone else after Shea really gets even carries. Pruitt is a big play receiver for them. 19.9 yards per catch, 179 total yards on 9 receptions. It really, though, is not about what they do with the ball offensively. It's really what they do defensively when they cause turnovers and they turn those into points. You'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 of which probably came against my team, but 7 forced fumbles. You've got a bunch of sacks. They fly to the ball. This really has been another team that from the get-go has been about their speed, but it really is amazing at how many forced fumbles that they cause to get after teams, turn the ball over, get that ball back into their offensive hands, usually pretty deep in the territory, which comes away with easy points. I'm going to go ahead and take the Cincinnati Bengals in our Week 3 game of the week just simply because they are loaded from top to bottom. Offensively, they're well-rounded. They can pass the ball. They can run the ball. They've got playmakers up front that are opening holes. They really are well-rounded. On a defense, it's speed, 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 speed. They get after the quarterback. They cause turnovers. And I just don't think that the Minnesota Vikings have the offense to match their defense. And I just don't see them causing enough forced fumbles to make this into a game. I will say, though, the Minnesota Vikings have all of those forced fumbles going their way. They are playing at home. That could turn the tide around. I'm looking for a high-scoring game. Give me a 32-42 victory for the Cincinnati Bengals. And that is it for your game of the week in week number 2. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Check out our Twitter. Check out our Twitch feed, our YouTube channel, our website, grownfolksoc.com, grownfolksoc on Twitter. We will see you next week. Peace.